1970s brought great inventions like the cell phone in 1973 and the Apple computer in 1976. It also saw the death of Elvis, the return of soldiers from the Vietnam War, and one of the biggest governmental crises of its time, the Watergate scandal. Amidst this backdrop came one of the most notorious serial killers of all times, Ted Bundy.
Everybody was on high alert in reference to him.
Bundy's rampage began in Seattle, Washington, and over a period of 5 years, he traveled through Oregon, Utah, Idaho, Colorado, and Florida, brutally raping and murdering scores of college-aged girls. His earliest known victim was believed to be taken in 1972. Bundy was considered to be a very attractive and intelligent man.
Gone to a mall in Salt Lake City and picked up a girl, had acted as if he was a police officer and said that he had caught someone car prowling around her car and that he needed her to go to the police station with him. And he put her in his Volkswagen, and she started thinking, this sure doesn't look like an undercover police car. And then then he tried to handcuff her while they were in the car, and she actually got away from him.
Bundy would often lure young ladies to his car by faking disabilities to convince his victims to help carry his books to his car or unload objects from his car. Bundy had even taken the passenger seat out of his Volkswagen Bug to enable him to hide his victims as he drove. In the fall of 1974, women were disappearing from local colleges at a rate of one a month. As police searched for answers, a few who had escaped Bundy's clutches would report the incidents and give a description of Bundy and his car. However, Bundy was ruled out as a suspect in the beginning because of his seemingly upstanding character and clean-cut appearance. Bundy was a college student at the University of Washington and a volunteer for the suicide hotline. No one would have guessed he could be responsible for these missing young girls. Bundy was born on November 24, 1948, in a home for unwed mothers. After his birth, he and his mother, Louise, went to live with his grandparents, and until the age of 7, Bundy believed his mother was his sister and his grandparents were his parents. When Bundy was 7, Louise moved to the Puget Sound area of Washington and married John Bundy. John Bundy adopted Ted and raised him as his own son, along with 5 other children born to Louise. Bundy graduated the University of Washington with a degree in psychology in 1972 and attended law school in Utah in the fall of 1974. It was difficult during that era to get enough evidence to charge Bundy with the crimes. Bundy continued to elude police even when they found handcuffs, rope, and other suspicious items in his car because the forensics of that time were so elementary. In 1975, the police finally got a break after Bundy was identified in a lineup by one of his escaped victims. They charged him with assault and attempted kidnapping, which carried a 1 to 15-year sentence. In June of 1977, while serving this sentence, Bundy was faced with a murder charge and decided to defend himself. Because Bundy was defending himself, Bundy was not required to wear his orange jail jumpsuit or be in shackles during the trial. This allowed his first escape from a bathroom window at a courthouse in Aspen, Colorado. He was on the run for 6 days before being recaptured. On December 20th, 1977, Bundy would take advantage of the understaffed jail due to the holidays and escape again. On January 14, 1978, Bundy entered the Chi Omega sorority house at the Florida State University and raped and murdered 2 young women and beat 2 others nearly to death. Bundy had left teeth marks in the body of one of the victims, which were later molded and matched to Bundy's teeth. This was considered one of the most damning pieces of evidence against Bundy. After the televised Chi Omega sorority trials, Bundy received 3 separate death penalties. His appeals finally came to an end January of 1989, 11 years after his final arrest. Bundy was put to death by means of the electric chair. The LA Times reported that 500 people wept cheered, and prayed at his execution. Bundy admitted to killing between 30 and 35 women among 7 states over almost a decade. Many of those confessions were given as pleas to lighten his sentencing. It is believed that the true number of Bundy's victims is over 100 women.
Kind of like a permanent change in how you thought about things, because I think after that you lose your you just lose your trust in strangers. I don't think there was probably even a strange guy that I ever met after that I really trusted until I got to know them, because it taught you that it didn't really matter what they looked like or what they did for a living or how intelligent they were or how suave they were. Anybody could be a serial killer.